Kim Kardashian, she of the large arse. Now, I don't really understand what the attraction is with Kim. She is one large bottom, and I don't really think being known as one large bottom is that great. I'd rather be known as the biggest bitch in Britain, frankly. You know, to call yourself plus size is simply a euphemism for being fat, and who wants to be fat? But I don't like geographical location names, celebrity names, things like Apple, things like, you know, Tilly Fizz. And don't call your kid North.
Do you know what my passion is? My passion is...
Eating.
Have you made girls cry?
I've made men cry, John, so be afraid. There's plenty of places in the UK that other people will tell you, I can tell you, I would not walk through.
Tell us these vast swathes of our country where we have lost control.
And if you didn't talk so much, I might be able to, darling. I invite your camera crews to come with me and see who tells me to cover up my hair, cover up my face. I mean, I can see that might be an advantage. I think if you have to pay these days for a 15-kilogram piece of luggage, why the hell aren't you paying for the 15-kilogram that you are draping around your arms, your waist and your arse?
People have different metabolisms, that's what I'm saying.
Well, if your metabolism is really slow, then maybe you need to shove less in this end so that you don't get fat.
Do you not realise where you're going with this?
How did you get this big?
This is actually to do with a hate crime.
And you're a victim of hate crime?
Absolutely.
And
can we call the police?
Would
you like to bring the police in?
Then a telephone right there. I think would you like it brought to you? Because it's probably going to be hard to
no,
just don't say I'm fat because, you know, it's just my metabolism. No, love. You're fat because you eat too much. Go get yourself a dairy milk. So you're finding me funny. This is the message I'm getting. Peaches Geldof is to me what salt is to a wound. She is everything that's bitter and twisted in this world. AP, attachment parenting, is just one step away from CRAP, crap parenting. I don't understand what this is. This is just an entirely inked arm, isn't it? It's just a blue arm. You said it tells a story. I don't see what a blue arm says about you.
OK, it's hard to explain. So it's black ink that is the start of a white ink geometric sleeve over it that has a lot of meaning, but aesthetically...
I think it just looks ugly. I mean, it's funny that we call our children names before we even have them. Before you've even taken a look at your child, you'll give it a name. I think that's a strange thing
you have an issue with people calling their children names that may mean beautiful or something.
Well, you end up with a terribly ugly kid called Bella. It's quite strange.
Katie, you've been a victim of online abuse as well. Do you think we need tougher laws?
No, and I absolutely, you know, I push back on this term victim. I don't see myself as a victim at all. Look, Twitter's there for people that want to use it. If you don't like it, get off Twitter. It is only vanity that makes people read the damn thing until their eyes fall out of their head.
And Katie, you are extremely rude. We're the alternative in the mainstream society. You're totally prejudiced towards tattooed people.
Why? What? Because I'm a plain skin?
No, that's what happens to us. People instantly make the judgment.
That's because your face is coloured, the sort of colour of a first-class stamp, my chicken.
The reason why
I totally disagree with that. The only thing you can do to stand out in life is colour your whole face in. That just makes you a kid with a crayon book.
One of you're doing a documentary, aren't you, about putting weight on?
Yeah, so I put on 4 stone to prove that skinny people aren't lucky to be skinny. They just move around a lot, and that fat people are, in fact, lazy.
It was a stupid project. I hate fat people for making me do this.
And that's why, as an employer, I have to be honest and say I would never employ someone inside.
The trouble is, it would appear that...
And if I can afford Olympic tickets, I can afford to pay for baby care. And if I'm going to the Olympics, I do not want to be sat next to a squawking child. And the list of things we can't say is now longer than the list of things we can. And I can't stand that. Feminists can go and do one. Kim has a daughter called North. I think that says everything, doesn't it? Especially when your career is going south. Big is not beautiful. No, you know, if you can't afford to pay for your own wedding, don't have one. If I want to bring you a toaster, even if you've got 2 already, I'm going to bring you a toaster. You know people have this opinion, which you admit.
Yeah, I know.
And so why don't you think, well, you know what, if I am going to compete, if I am going to get myself off benefits, which I really want to,
but you wouldn't ask someone
change?
of a different... And just because I weigh more than a certain person, I'm not getting a job. And that should not be allowed.
But the answer to that sits with you. You have one speed setting, and that speed setting is slow, slow, slow. Someone put the wrong speed dial in when they created you, sweetie. And I don't like women that complain. I don't like Piado Perez, I don't like Stella Creasy for those reasons. You know, they're on Twitter, someone says something a bit nasty to them, they have a little cry and go to the police. but I am man enough to deal with this stuff, and I enjoy the fact Twitter
This is a
there.
nonsense.
Yes, it's blunt, but
No,
if you want
Katie,
polite,
you
go and
deal
dress
with
in a
people.
dress and go to a tea party.
Katie.
Now, I'm not one for Lily Allen, really. I quite liked her when she was singing and kind of interesting, and then she went off to tell us all about, you know, being a mother, and she was removing herself from the spotlight because she wanted to be a mother, and that largely involved, I think, gaining 2 stone and looking pretty hideous.
So, but who's looking at that? It's really easy for women to turn on other women. Many women would have a problem with that.
I think if proof of the sisterhood and its bitchiness were required, it's sitting right here in purple, isn't it? And I think, for me, the sisterhood only extends as far as the kitchen door, and I think you'd be a good example of that. There is no way I would ever have a rug in a box in my house. One, I have taste, and finally, I have a home I'm proud of. But no off-peak weddings for me, not a chance. When I hear Tuesday, I think cheap bride, nasty dress. Yeah, believers are weird. They do love him. I think they may love him forever. I suspect they're sort of sad, lonely girls called kind of Rebecca and things that haven't got many friends and kind of hold on to him and say that they believe. Well, they can believe off the women. It's because, you know, men talk in logic and rational terms, and they don't squawk and make a noise.
But nobody likes it. Nobody likes it. Do not delude yourself that it's only women who don't like you. Men don't like you either.
Is there an off button, Sonia? Because I'd like to press it right now.
And that's just greed.
Okay.
Well,
More money.
you're a perfect
Yeah.
example of greed, Sweet Pea, because you weigh 25 stone.
You see hope, and I see fat bastards draining our National Health Service. There was a golf buggy that brought the bride up to the pretend church. A golf buggy. And I said to my daughters, look at that golf buggy. If you think you're going to get married using a golf buggy, your mother will not be coming to your wedding. Look, Sir Tim Hunt is a great guy. He's a funny guy. He has a dry British wit. Now, if you take a load of scientists, specifically South Korean scientists, who've got about as much sense of humour as my mother-in-law.
And journalists, apparently.
And she's dead.
Yeah.
So, no, I do find her deplorable, but I extend love to you, Katie.
I really don't want that sort of love from someone in purple.
Let's have...
I would never hope to be associated with anyone that's ever bought anything from the TV. Frankly, if you don't like the Forum, get off it. Our police have better things to be doing, and I'm sure our taxpayers don't want to be going out there spending their hard-earned money on police coming around to deal with problems for small women like you.
How would you know who was a Muslim and who wasn't?
You can't enforce that sort of thing. You don't have religion announced on your passport. I said myself, what we're going to do, stay there and, you know, eat a hot dog and sing Glory, Glory, Hallelujah. I think women actually don't want equal treatment. They couldn't handle it if they got it, quite a number of them. What a lot of women are actually asking for, and you can look aghast at this, is special treatment.
There will be women listening to you on LBC tonight.
Throwing their high heels at the radio.
Kicking the wall with anger.
Well, maybe they need to get a sense of humour, and maybe female scientists need to get a sense of humour as well.
Because trust me, people don't want to work with people that they don't trust.
It's great that everybody loves you, and it's great that you speak for the whole nation. You're a great person, and I'm not as great as you. Ultimately, I have no hate. I have no hate. I have no hate.
No, you do. You clearly do.
Listen, Dolly, I look for the best in everyone. It's just that I so seldom find it. I stand by everything I've said. I stand by everything I've done, really. And I don't apologise for any of it. So, you know what? Deal with it.
Do you ever, of everything you've said, controversial, and you know you've upset people with things you've said, do you ever regret saying it or feel you should apologise?
No, I don't regret saying anything that I've said because I'd stand by it. And I think in the House, whilst maybe people got to see another side of me or a side of me beyond maybe 5 minutes on a sofa or 2 minutes on a radio or 140 characters on Twitter, there is still a very hard side to me, a side that says, no, the taxpayer shouldn't be paying for your kid to go to school when you pay £4,500 on the transportation of your horses.
Yeah, no, that's an opinion that you have, but I'm on about personal attacks, personal opinions. Do you ever think I shouldn't have said that and I should apologise?
Give me an example.
Well, for instance, when my sister was in Big Brother, you constantly, every day, day in, day out, went on about, I wish she'd put her ugly fat arm away. I wish she'd pick up her very droopy breasts. She looks like an old person that smells of, she didn't put this politely, but urine. And as a family, that was really, really hard and I just thought, Can you imagine somebody saying that about your family? Do you ever think, actually, I shouldn't have said that?
No, and people say hard stuff about me all the time, obviously.
No,
if you let me answer... No, I'm going to answer. I am going to answer if we let me answer, of course. And the thing I would say is, you know, there are hard things that are said. I wasn't the biggest fan of your sister on Celebrity Big Brother, and I was a massive supporter of Jim Davison. I suppose as adversaries, you have to pick your sides.
Absolutely.
And I was always Team Jim.
Do you not think you should have looked into... The reason her arm is that fat is because she's had breast cancer and she has lymphedema and she's had a mastectomy.
We all
have. Her biggest insecurity in life is that arm that you constantly, day in, day out...
And how many times, you know, I think I get a lot of comments, for example, every day about maybe I've got a big nose or I look like Princess Anne or a horse face or any of the other insults that people want... No, but people want to throw at me, and I accept those things that people throw at me. But I guess I've always said that, you know, if you put yourself out there on TV, you have to accept that people aren't always going to like you, and you do have choices. I have a choice. I can stay at home and sit on my sofa, or I put myself out there and accept some of the comments that are coming my way, and I've been grateful for those.
That talking to a cancer victim and describing her as having droopy breasts, is that constructive criticism?
I think for me, I was Team Jim, and so I was with Jim all the way on this, and I didn't like the way she behaved in the house. I didn't like the way she
haven't answered my question.
Do
you think telling a cancer victim that she's got droopy breasts is constructive, helpful criticism?
I'm not looking to do constructive, helpful criticism. I have 400,000 followers on Twitter because some people find me witty and entertaining.
No, but also we know how you get 400,000 followers on Twitter by trading them off.
Then the reason people read the stuff you write is because you write fairly harsh and direct stuff about individuals. So we have to say we operate in the same business.
I have never picked on someone's breasts because they're a cancer victim. I just think there are other ways to have a go at someone. And
we could pick on this one item and talk about it for 15 minutes.
No,